This is the Empire State Plaza, and my great-grandparents lived here. Well, not here exactly, but they lived beneath here. Well, not underneath here exactly. It's a food court now, but they lived here before any of this was built, before the 60s. You see, before the 60s, this place was a working-class neighborhood full of mostly poor Italians, and my great-grandparents had a home here. But then, Governor Rockefeller decided he needed a place for his state agencies, and he bulldozed their entire neighborhood. Now, the weirdest part of the whole story is, my grandfather actually helped to destroy this place. It was his first job as an iron worker. So I'm kind of on a quest to figure out the history of this place. The real history, not the stuff in the textbooks, but the personal history. What was it like for the people who lived here? What was it like for my great-grandparents? And ultimately, what does this place mean to me and my family? So, the first step on my journey, the New York State Archives, which are right here in the mall itself, in the public library. But unfortunately, my research didn't really come up with much. I got a hold of some old-timey Google Street View style photos that the city took to monitor street conditions. Here are these same areas now, according to Google Maps. It doesn't really look like the streets have gotten much better. And some old fire insurance maps from the 1800s. Officially speaking, this was all that was left of my great-grandparents' old neighborhood. Some colored blocks on an old map and some photos that were taken during construction. Again, Google Maps gives us a little illustration of what we're missing here. Everything between Beaver Park and the Capitol building, that's what was destroyed. The archival material, although useful in a certain sense, really wasn't getting me what I wanted. I wanted to know the personal history. Maybe the people of Albany had something to say about it.
Do you know anything about the history of this area? Like, what was here
Actually, I do. 25 years ago, this used to be actually a huge playground.
I was quickly realizing I needed to get closer to the source. The real source. I needed to ask the people who were close to me. What did they remember about what was here? So I tracked down two people. My grandmother, who used to live in Albany when she was a young girl.
Your grandfather used to come down with Donnie because he goes, she's fucking beautiful. He goes, I would do anything. He said, can't you talk her into being with me? And he goes, he said, the only thing, she's got such a foul mouth. He goes, she looks like an angel. He said, and then she opens that mouth, right? So he'd go, hey there, beautiful, how you doing? I go, fuck off.
And Al, who's an Albany old-timer and a friend of the family.
The plaza was built. It's windy.
Both of them were there when the mall was being constructed, and both of them were there before. With this new ensemble gathered, I figured I could finally get some answers to the questions I had.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Empire State Plaza. Before it was built, there was residential buildings that extended from up here, going all the way down to Eagle Street, which is down there. And intermingled in here were continuations of Lancaster, Hamilton, and over by the museum, Madison Avenue. They were all residential, commingled with some bars, restaurants. Over here you have the legislative building. You have what's known as the Egg, Corning Towers, the museum, and over here you have other state buildings. In front of the Egg, population can escape. It's a magnificent site. But as far as the longevity, in the historic perspective, it is just the opposite of what it had been. What you could basically call the gut of the city of Albany.
Where the mall was built, where they built the Egg and the Twin Towers and all that stuff, where that was all built, that was all apartments years ago, okay? And then when you got up to the top of the hill, you had stores and a couple of restaurants and things.
It was really just a come-together spot. Everybody was nice.
If you were from outside it and you didn't have a friend in that neighborhood, no, you wouldn't want to go there. When we first moved there, we lived in like 4 places and got evicted because my mother used to just drop us off and take off. We got evicted from 4 different places. Each place had a gang.
It was really nice, you know, nice atmosphere.
We literally saw a black guy stab a black girl.
Now, everybody's in a rush. They got to get to work, to this, to that. And there were characters galore down through there. The older characteristics, the physical buildings, and the people, the nature just of what went on. Anyone probably could adhere to this or see what happened if they had a chance to see the movie, The Ironweed.
I know a lad, and when I feel bad, he scares all my troubles away.
You could see the sharp knife too, shining like this here. And he had it. And he stabbed her once. He was getting ready to stab her again. And I yell out the window, I said, I see who you are. I go, you black motherfucker. I go, we just called the cops. I go ahead, fucking do it again. I said, because the cops are on their way over here, right? And the cops came over. They found the dead lady, you know. So shit like that. I worked in a restaurant like about 3 blocks down from the mall where it was being built, where my husband was working, right? And the place that I worked in for this guy, Ralph Sillipo, he was Italian. He used to have these guys come in, and they would come in and out all day long. And they'd have a sandwich and a coffee or 2. And they'd leave me a $20 tip. Now back then, that's a lot of money. So I was taking down like $300 a day. See, I didn't know all those guys that were coming in were exchanging money. You know what I mean? But back then, bookmaking wasn't a skanky job.
There were a lot of things that happened. As far as the mall, there were rumors that houses were being built with materials that were taken from the mall.
Oh, yeah?
And we don't want to get into some of the things.
Then there was a guy that used to come down. He was a Shylock. And he was up there. He was the foreman on the job. And he got to like me. He used to come down for lunch every day. And one day he sees me with a black and blue, and he's like, what the fuck happened to you? And Ralph goes, you know, her ex-husband just did that. And he goes, what's the motherfucker's name? He said, you know what? If he's not in my pit, he said he's going in today. And he did.
I'm sure things did happen. There's a big job. And who's going to notice a truck full of one thing because they had many truckloads coming in of that same thing?
Oh, Grandpa grew up on Grand Street.
And is that still there, or was that destroyed with the mall?
No, that was destroyed too.
So I heard that Grandpa's family came from that neighborhood, though, where the mall was built.
Yes, I believe your grandfather's family was down in the Grand Street area, which is right there, so to speak, right next to the mall, as close as you could get.
And that was torn down for the mall?
No, that stayed up.
So Grandpa used to live where the mall was built?
A few down like where I was. Like, you see where I was at Green Street? Well, he was up a little bit more.
Going down Madison Avenue, they would have been to the right. Going toward Lincoln Park, where the mall went to the left. They were just before the part that was taken over.
So then they didn't have to leave when the mall was built?
No.
His grandmother owned a fish store back then, right down in that area. So she had her little fish store. But that was another thing that got closed down too.
Graham told me that Grandpa's mom owned a fish store. Do you know
See,
anything?
that I don't honestly know, but if she said it, I'm sure, you know, and I'm sure that's what happened.
They got rid of a lot of the riffraff. They had, literally Green Street was all prostitutes. They used to hang right out the window.
Were there like people who you knew who weren't living there anymore? Did you like, were there people who you didn't see anymore after it was built?
No, people drifted apart. We all drifted apart. You know how you drift apart.
This is unbelievable. This was nowhere's, or appears the way it was when it was residential. With all these buildings, nice, gorgeous buildings, was the old Albany, if you could call it that, has changed completely.
This is the Empire State Plaza. And maybe my great-grandparents lived here. I'm not really sure. In fact, there's a lot of things I'm not really sure about what was here. Maybe it was a great neighborhood where everyone knew everyone and it was nice. Maybe it's a crime-ridden mess full of prostitutes and stabbings. Maybe it was just a giant playground after all. I guess this place is whatever the people who've known it remember it as. As for me, I have no memory of it. And although I'm no closer to the truth of what it was for my great-grandparents, I guess with the truths of these other people, I do feel a little bit closer to what was here.
Sing us a song. Lovely Miss
Helen Archer.
Helen Archer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to sing this for my man, Francis.
And we won't get into some of the notoriety of Dan O'Connell,
I feel bad.
of which there was.
All my troubles.
He was known to have some of the best cockfighting pigeons in the
When he's
country.
your friend, he's yours till the end.
Because all the guys liked me. What I did was I picked out the toughest. I found out who was the leader of the gang. And what I would do is I'd be real nice to him. So now nobody fucked with me.
And when I feel blue, he's the one I go to.
I want to try it. Oh, this is really delicious.
He's me pal, he's me pal. There ain't nobody else I can see. I know he's dead tough, but his love is no bluff. He'd share his last dollar with me. I'd rather have him and his 15 a week than be some old millionaire's gal. He's the best ever was, and I loves him because he's me pal, he's me pal.
That's the history of this area.